Cancelled.
Schweezy.
All right, boys and girls, it's another time for the Christmas Schweezy tradition, where we go over Christmas movies, the Christmas movie reviews. Beginning of Cancel Schweezy, we used to do a lot more movie reviews, and they've kind of staggered. What I need to do, actually, no, never mind. I'm not going to talk about fucking inside baseball on this show. Anyways, though, so we do movie reviews. We used to do a lot more movie reviews. But we do a lot more. The whole month of December, we do movie reviews, except for the last week. We do my favorite albums of 2020 or 2022 or whatever. Insert whatever year we're doing this. But anyways, though, this year I wanted to do more like at least the movie reviews I wanted to do were movies that like I would say like if someone asked me like have you watched this movie. The answer would be like, yeah, I've seen this movie. And like they give me the movie, it would be yes. But it was like last week we did Home Alone, which that's a classic. And, it's weird that that's not really part of my rotation. Now this week we're doing this week. And this week, this was a movie I probably saw one time. It was at my Aunt Judy's. Long story short, my Aunt Judy is a lot older than my dad. So she's more like a grandma to me than an aunt. And my dad and so we'd visit her. It was like visiting grandma. And this is the Aunt Judy. In her basement, she had like a small TV, and like it was only for like when she had me and my brother were her nephews, and then her grandkids when they came over. We hung out in the basement and goofed around. You're like that '70s show. It wasn't as nice as that, surprisingly enough. But anyways, though, like, that's the basement, and you're like, memories with Aunt Judy, that'll always be precious to me. But, like, that basement was where I discovered Paramore for the first time. So that was special. Like, you saw Hayley Williams. It was, like, right when Misery Business came out. And I was like, and I saw Hayley, I was like, I think something's awoken in me. And, like, yeah. But anyways, though, this was the house before that. This is when I saw the movie Jack Frost, starring Michael Keaton. This is a movie. And so that's that. So I've always thought maybe like one time I had to have been a small child when we put it on the TV. It was like so much so. It was probably like when you're young enough where like you can kind of like you can kind of function, kind of understand what's going on in life, but like at the same time, like movies that aren't necessarily cartoons or like made for kids don't really like register in your mind, like you don't really get it, So yeah, this week we're reviewing the movie Jack Frost. And I think it may have been last year sometime. I don't know who the one who commented this one, but whoever the fuck suggested that I watch Jack Frost, personally, I would like to, because I can't remember who you are. But I know you're out there, and I can't imagine you stop listening to this show. Fuck you. Thank you for listening, though, but fuck you for making me watch this movie. I will explain more later on why whoever the fuck told me to watch the movie Jack Frost, they can go fuck themselves. Because fuck them. We're going to get into that in a little bit. I just wanted to bring that up. Basically going into this movie, like, what did I know going into this movie? I knew it was not actually about, like, the Jack Frost character. I knew it wasn't about, like, the mythos of Jack Frost. Regardless of all of it, what I would want is for Michael Keaton's Jack Frost, the Rankin Bass Jack Frost, Martin Short's Jack Frost from the Santa Claus 3, and maybe a couple other Jack Frosts come together that I didn't mention to come together so we can go into the Jack Frost verse, where all the Jack Frosts come together to save humanity. Only then will God be satisfied with what humans have done on Earth. That is the only time God will be okay. Unlike the 3 Pinocchio movies that came out in 2022. Yeah, 3 Pinocchio movies came out in 2022. I haven't seen the newest one, but the other 2 sucked. I'm just be honest. The other one was funny because like he was like Pauly Shore was being gay, but like fucking Disney. I don't know. Yeah, no, I'm not getting into that. We're talking about Jack Frost with Michael Keaton today. Into the Jack Frost verse will be for another day, another life. Anyways, though. So Michael Keaton, that's his name. His name is Jack Frost. That's his name. His name is just fucking Jack Frost. That's why the movie's called Jack Frost. His name is Jack Frost, and he is a musician. I was like, okay, I'm gonna be able to get into this movie. I was watching it. We also know I was very drunk when I was watching this movie. That's also very important to how we're gonna go to it. So we're watching. So what band is Jack Frost playing? Well, I'm here to tell you. He plays in the Jack Frost Band. They're kind of like a blues band, blues rock. I would say they're more blues rock. Now, Michael Keaton is he plays guitar and he plays harmonica in this band, but they do a big emphasis on the harmonica. Now, fellas, this goes to anyone who wants to fuck a woman. I said fellas, but I feel like when I say fellas, it's like anyone who wants to fuck a woman should be in the fellas. Like, boys is everyone. Like, when I say boys, that's everyone. When I say fellas is for anyone who wants to fuck a woman. If you want to fuck a woman and you think music is your gateway, I'm going to tell you right now, harmonica is not it. I just talked to a friend. Mandolin is not it either. Banjo is probably not it either. There was like a 3-year period in like 2010 to 2013, maybe 14, where you could get laid playing banjo. But no one likes the Lumineers anymore. I certainly as fuck do not like the Lumineers. The fact that the Lumineers exist pissed me off. I don't know any of the members though. The members can exist, but the Lumineers, but them coming together and making the Lumineers fucking pisses me off. So yeah, he abused that. But he had but I noticed though, because I am a musical genius, I noticed that like 2 of the pickups in his Stratocaster, he played a Fender Stratocaster, 2 of them were black, the pickups, but typically with the white pickguard, and the third one was a white, meaning he modded that Stratocaster. Probably meaning if we're going to talk about, it is that low budget and they borrowed someone's guitar and they're just like, we're not gonna fuck it up. They're like, hey man, we really need to borrow your guitar. We're gonna guarantee, I'm gonna tell Michael Keaton to not fucking ruin it. Anyways though, also we're plot holes in the movie. We gotta go over this. He threw his harmonica just, I think, anywhere. And then he started singing, then he pulled out, then he had his harmonica again in that. So I don't know how many harmonicas he probably bought to the show. I was thinking like that's a plot hole, but I also at the same time was like, maybe he has like 30 of the same key harmonica. And for those of you who don't know, harmonicas are a certain key, and if you're playing if you're playing even a 1-hour set of music, you're playing more than one key. And so he would have to have multiple harmonicas, meaning he would have to have multiple harmonicas of the same key. Also, the band has a violin player. I don't know any blues bands that have violin players unless they're going to probably play some country. But also at the same time, the kind of gigs I feel like he's getting does not require a violin player, because then it means they have to pay the violin player. It's probably not worth it to even add them in the band. Maybe the guitar player can just probably figure out the parts or whatever. Anyways, though, I think for the most part that's done with the music. The band doesn't really come up ever again in this movie, and you're going to soon find out why. Then we're introduced to Jack Frost's son, Charlie Frost, who is clearly Jack Frost of the Jack Frost Band's son. Just wanted to make sure you knew. Charlie Frost is the son of Jack Frost, who is in the Jack Frost Band. Also, and I think I just wrote down here, musicians shouldn't have children. It's just, I mean, like, I know we all want to have families and lives and all of that. And I'm a musician too, so I can speak on behalf of this. I'm like, you love your kids, but like it's hard to do music with kids. And one day I'm gonna have a kid and I'm still gonna do music. So I'll love the kid, but I'm not gonna stop. And so it's just easier when you're like, yeah, this guy has a kid, whatever. So anyways though, Michael Keaton comes home from his gig, aka Jack. It's gonna be, I'm not gonna call him Jack Frost. I can't call him Jack fucking because it's not anything to do with Jack Frost, the mythos. I'm just going to call him Michael Keaton, okay? They build a snowman, and they use Michael Keaton's clothing, and I don't know, for some reason that gave me anxiety. I don't know, it was just like, use my hat and my scarf. I'm like, well, you might need that tomorrow, buddy. Like, when you have a snowman, you find old clothes. I remember we had like a snowman kit. My mom has a picture of me and my brother with the snowman somewhere, and they bought me the largest jacket that has ever exist on the smallest child. I was like, I remember when it was like, now I'm an adult, and so like I'm very good at knowing like, hey, if I need a jacket, but if it's like, sometimes if it's just like walking in the store, walking out, I'll go lighter, but if I know I'm gonna be outside, like I know what to get. But my parents were like, the biggest fucking jacket, it is 50 degrees. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And it was a snowman, and we had like a snowman kit or whatever, and you don't use shit like you want to reuse on a snowman. Then he gave his son a harmonica, and he's like, blow into it if you ever, blow into it if you. I'm gonna do a Michael Keaton to it. I know he's played Batman and everything, but like, I feel like when I started getting into movies, like he's played like Birdman, the Vulture, which don't watch Morbius, I'll ruin the Vulture for you. He's like, hey kid, if you ever need a harmonica, just blow into it, you'll find me. Yeah. And, harmonicas are always finding jam sessions. So this kid's just like, y'all want to jam right now? We're like, well, man, like the drummer has to set up his drum set. I'm playing electric guitar. I have to set up a lot of things. Harmonicas like, just fucking whip it out. It's so fucking annoying. Anyways, though, so it was like, play this harmonica if you ever knew me, kid. And that's like a Michael Keaton thing. I'm just going to read my notes here. This is the moment in the movie. Oh, yeah, so I started looking up all the fucking, background information on all these characters. So it was like Michael Keaton. So I just looked up Michael Keaton's like Wikipedia page. His full name is actually Michael Keaton Douglas. The same name as the guy who plays Hank Pym in Ant-Man. Meaning that when Michael Douglas went to Hollywood, he was like, I want to be Michael Douglas. And they were like, that's taken. And you're like, well, can't we have two Michael Douglases in acting? No, we can't. So he had to change his name to Michael Keaton. Or there's another story there. That's the only story, or whatever. But I'm still fucking mad about fucking Morbius ruining the Michael Keaton. Because, like, the post-credit scene's set up, like, Scorpion, maybe even Vulture's return in Spider-Man Homecoming, and then they're like, damn, like, we're going to transport him to the Morbius universe. And you're like, I have a beef with Spider-Man, and I want to be honest with you. If I had a beef with someone in my universe, but then I got transported to another universe, I would probably not have beef with the version of that person who exists in the universe I was transported to, because I have beef with the person in the universe I was in. That's my deal, Sony. You have to understand that, Sony. And also, Michael Keaton's Vulture was like, Spider-Man did me good. He helped my family and everything. And that's why he didn't reveal his identity to Michael Gargan. I can't remember the Scorpion's name. And so they're setting up the Scorpion. Hopefully that works out. Anyways, though, I'm done talking about Morbius. We have there's like two highlights on Morbius, all right? We've been talking about that enough. Okay. All right, so Jack was in the studio because his band had to record a song or something like that. Now this is before, there's some shit going on here, but he missed his son Charlie Frost, son of Jack Frost of the Jack Frost band's hockey game, because he was held up in the studio because he was bitching about what he wanted, which was Jack bitching about what he wanted. I mean, they did not have a good producer, meaning Jack was the one producing it. And Jack was not like liking the arrangement and shit like that, and like, I'm just thinking about like, me working in a studio. I'm a producer. I'm like, you're paying me by the hour, like, and I'm like, you're paying me by the hour. So, there's a lot of fucking shit there. But so like that basically they used their studio time as basically a practice space with recording shit, which would have cost them a lot of money, but they were like almost gonna get signed by a record label, and people were like, "Yeah, we got a $10 million record record deal. When people tell you that, and this is just inside music right now, people tell you they got a record deal, but they got like we got like a $10,000 record deal to make this album or something like that. That's basically them saying like we were given $10,000 as a loan to make the album. That's what they're saying. They make it sound fancy, so it sounds like a good thing. But it's all it is just a loan. And the idea is you record the album, you sell the album, you make that money back. And then after whatever you pay for the loan, you make a profit. That's basically what that is. And so now you have a lot of bands you're like, we're getting home studios and stuff like that, or like going to a cheaper studio, or going to like a specific producer's studio, so they're not paying for studio time, but they're paying for the producer's time. Just how it is. But back then, this was, I can't remember what year this came out. I think I wrote it down somewhere. I think it's in the 1990s. It's in the 1900s for the Gen Z out there. It's in the 1900s and stuff like that. So good chance that the studio either was still recording a tape, or basically they had this thing. It was like digital tape. I need to stop ranting about this, but basically what it was it was basically like recording to a tape, but it was like this very expensive system at the time, at least, where basically they treated it like you're recording to tape. So it's digital, but in a box, but it's not on a computer. And it's like tape, but it's digital. So if that makes sense, it's like if you buy a digital recorder, you do that, but it's multi-track. Hopefully, I don't know how to make that even make sense to like someone who's not into studio shit. But eventually, since Jack wasted all his fucking time at the studio missing his kid's game, where usually it would be like, hey kid, what time's your game? 3 p.m. We're going to the studio at 8 a.m. It was like, okay, 8 to 9, we're not getting anything done. Everyone's setting up and everything like that. So at 9 o'clock, go 9 and maybe like 2:30. We're like, oh, we got to end at 2:30. And whoever's in charge is like, okay, the studio's done at 2:30 or whatever. And then you dick out. Apparently he didn't do this shit. So you missed the game. And Charlie like asks his dad, why are musicians so flaky? Basically, you don't have to be a flaky musician. You just have to understand how your schedule works. And it's really funny. Like I talk to friends who aren't musicians, and they're like, I don't have time for this. And they tell me like they don't have time for this. I'm like, it's called time management. And if you're a musician, you figure out your time management. Like, okay, so I definitely have to be at this thing. Let's say like, I definitely have to be at this thing at 7 o'clock today. However, though, I'm with my band, and, it's like we're going to start recording at 1, and we don't know when we're going to end. I have to be somewhere at 7, so before 7, that's where we're going to end. And so then my mind's like, okay, we have to be efficient up until that time, instead of being like, let's just see where the creativity goes. No, stuff like that. And so I always hate when people are like, I don't have time for anything. I'm like, you do have time, you just don't know how to use your time properly. So fucking annoying. So yeah, his dad's being a flaky musician, and he figured that shit out. So they're getting ready for their Thanksgiving or their Christmas vacation, not the movie, just their Christmas vacation. They got like a cabin or whatever, and that's where they're going for Christmas. And they're like, "Santa gonna make it to the cabin?" Like, I don't know. Think of it like oh yeah, no, and like, but Jack has to like, well, we're meeting this record label at Christmas Eve, what some shit like that. So the whole band has to be there. We have to meet this record label, and like that's the shit that I don't get. Like the music industry generally, for the most part, we take off like the Christmas, New Year's era, unless you're specifically playing a New Year's show or like a Christmas show, or like you work on a cruise ship, or you're somewhere like Branson or Gatlinburg. There's only like real examples I have. Or a cruise ship, like where you're like yeah, we're gonna be working Christmas. That's just what it is. We're gonna be playing a show Christmas for people who want to see a show Christmas. That's what you're doing, and that it's like football players too. Like they know, like, oh, I'm playing on Thanksgiving, I'm playing on Christmas, I'm playing on New Year's. Like that your family knows that. It's just what it is. But like for something like we're gonna have music industry meetings on New Year's Eve, that shit doesn't happen. Like, unless it's like a big show where money will be made, like that. Like, whatever meeting they're having with this record label executive, no money is being made other than at the day of time of signing or whatever this day is. No money is being made this day. So that's not something this works. So it's always weird, But I guess they decided to cancel it at the end of it. Just like they're in the middle of nowhere. They're like, okay, guys, let's cancel it so we can spend time with our families. And so, and then after that, Jack was able to get a car from the other band, the keyboard player in the band, which the band has a keyboard player. And he looks like a keyboard player too. And if you tell me I look like that fucking keyboard player, I'm going to fucking come to your house and punch you in the face. Next podcast, you're going to be listening to me on your little headphones. I was like, remember I told him he looked like the fucking keyboard player in Jack Frost? And you're just going to be fucking roundhouse kick to the face through your fucking headphones or phone speaker or wherever you fucking listen to the show. Oh, and by the way, Jack Frost, he died in this car crash. He did die in this car crash. And this was the moment in the movie where I realized, like, I fucked up. Like,
congratulations, you played yourself.
That's where we got to at this point in this movie. So then we cut to a year later, and I was like, how dare this movie do this to me? And then what the fuck just happened? I'm like, I was not, whoever fucking this is where I was like, whoever, at this point, it's the dad dies, and then you get to watch the kid fucking deal with this shit. This is where I'm going into. Whoever the fuck, it had to be maybe last year. I don't remember. If you leave a comment on this stuff, I appreciate it. I love it, but I'm not going to remember your names unless you're nice to me. This person was neutral, so I'm not going to remember it. Therefore, I'm going to say, whoever the fuck would be like, next year you should review Jack Frost, Michael Keaton, because it's a notoriously just weird, bad movie, and people don't like it. And then my dad died, and now I'm just saying, fuck you, and fuck your entire goddamn fucking existence. And, the kid's dealing with the fact that his dad died, and it's near Christmas, and he's, like, going to the 1-year anniversary. And he's a child, and he's not old enough to be, like, finding friends who help him find alcohol to let him drink or whatever. So he can't just fucking deal with it like normal adults. He has to deal with it as a fucking kid who doesn't drink and is normal and not a fucking degenerate. And then Charlie Builds a Snowman to fucking Landslides by Fleetwood Mac. First of all, fuck playing that song. I didn't want to hear that shit. I'm trying to make a podcast where we all just fucking laugh and goof around and shit like that. It's like all we're trying to do is just goof around and stuff like that. So he builds a snowman. I would love to, and I just wrote in my notes, I'd love to beat the fucking shit out of this movie. Like, if this movie became a human being, I'm not even that violent of a person, but if this movie became a human being, I would beat the shit out of it. So after building the snowman, Charlie, he plays the magic harmonica, and then I guess the magic of both the harmonica and Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. All that montage, I guess the snowman comes to life. Similar to that Campbell soup commercial where the snowman comes to life. But honestly, the snowman looked very CGI, which CGI is like, if it's something like very CGI, it's not too bad until it gets into Uncanny Valley. But the Campbell soup commercial with the snowman, where the snowman like walks inside, eats the soup, and basically dies or transforms to a human, that one's creepy. So yeah, started drinking more, because his fucking dad came back to life as a snowman. I've been having, I've been having reoccurring dreams where my dad's just alive, and like the whole thing, it's like, I wish my dad was still alive. That's not the problem. The problem is the grief and torture, you go through doing a funeral for someone. And then it was like, he's just alive. I'm like, Dad, we had a whole ass funeral for you. Like, we buried you. We all gave speeches. We all tried to get closure. We all tried to do this shit. And he's like, well, I'm still alive. I'm like, that's the dreams I fucking have. Where he's just alive like that and shit like that. Well, because I don't think my actual dad, he would not have done that shit. If he was just like still alive, he's like, Dad, we had a whole funeral for you. We buried you and everything. And you're just alive. He's like, yeah. You just gotta get used to it. I'm like, I don't think I can get used to this. Anyways, though, now his fucking dad's alive as a snowman, which honestly, I don't know. Do I want my dad's alive? I'm just, I'm trying to accept his death still. I'm just like trying to accept this shit. And we come back to snowman, I'm like, oh my God. But yeah, I guess they get into a snowball fight later, and then Jack Frost's like, oh, I'm gonna protect my kid. I'm gonna protect him from a snow fight. Similar to how Buddy did in Elf, but they did it better, even though this movie, I think, came first. But powerful. But Jack, I guess the snowman Jack Frost proves to Charlie Frost, of son of Jack Frost of the Jack Frost band, proved they were real and everything like that. So everything was hunky dory. And he's like, "That's my real dad." He was able to prove it, like, just, like, with, I guess, just normal talking. But Michael Keaton Snowman wants to be a good father, but he's a snowman, so he can't do anything, so he has to live outside. But if he goes inside, he melts and shit like that. It's like, it's just fucking, like, this is the movie, If your dad didn't die, you're like, this movie is kind of fucking dumb. And then your dad dies, you're like, my dad's alive, but he's a snowman. I gotta keep my dad alive. And you're like grieving. And he's like, Charlie wants to tell his mom what's going on. It's like, you can't fucking do that. You're like, hey, mom, that snowman outside, that's our dad. That's my dad. Like, you can't. This is fucking. This movie's not only, like, just disrespectful to people who lost their dad. It's just like. Actually, no, I was right. It's disrespectful for anyone who's lost their father in the recent years, and no one should watch the movie fucking Jack Frost. If your dad died, if you have a dead dad, do not watch this fucking movie. I don't care if you're like, it's been 30 years since my dad died, but just don't watch this fucking movie. One, it's not even that good of a movie, folks. And two, you might just fucking bawl your eyes out watching this. So, and then, Jack Frost, Snowman Jack Frost, teaches Charlie how to do, like, the hockey J shot, middle of fucking nowhere, which apparently is the real closure he needed with his dad. And then he goes to a festival with his dad, the keyboard player, who does not look like me. If you tell me that I look like that goddamn fucking keyboard player, I'm gonna punch you next episode through your fucking headphones. You better. I will do it. Do not at me. He was like, and then I wrote from my notes because I was fucking drunk. He's my kind of fat, and he said he really couldn't play music anymore after his, Jack Frost died, and he doesn't play bass anymore. Why did I write that? Okay, never mind. Oh no! It was because I was like, if anyone's like, because my dad was like a track cross country coach, and I hope anyone, I think my generality. Is that like, if anyone was inspired by my dad to keep doing something, don't stop because he died. Keep doing it. I don't know why. Everyone was like, it's different from music, and everyone, I don't know what everyone was doing. Like, it was nice at his funeral. Like, we saw a lot of his, like, old, like, like, athletes and stuff like that. They're all cool. One of them was, like, one of my student teachers in, like, 8th grade. We both hated that teacher, which was awesome when I ran into him. He's like, I think I had you as a student. I'm like, I remember you now. Stuff like that. Anyways, the hockey team van pulls up. Charlie hasn't been playing all season, but they're like, you want to come on the team? And they're like, sure. So he jumps in the van. I wrote, no, remember, this is a child's hockey team? Now someone who was on the team was like, who probably got cut for Charlie. What am I writing? Oh, they were at a cabin? Oh, no, they were at their house. The movie came out in 1998. That's when this movie came out. Okay. So, worst case scenario. I was born in 93. Worst case scenario, I was over 5 years old when this movie came out. So, that's when I last saw it. They let him back on the... I don't know what my fucking notes are saying right now. But anyways, they're trying to get, like... He was basically some whatever the fuck I was writing here up. Charlie's back on the hockey team, and Jack Frost, the snowman, formerly of the Jack Frost band, decides to make it to the game. So the game's going on. Batman, Michael Keaton's trying to make it to the game, but it's hot outside. So Michael Keaton. This might be even after Christmas, I think, where it's like maybe like February, when it's starting to like not be snow weather anymore. But eventually, he makes it in time. The son does the J shot. All is well and good, and stuff like that. And, but it's actually not good because, Charlie's dad is melting, and Charlie wants to fix it as much as possible because, like, my father is about to die for a second time. Now, I've had it happen once, and what a fucking week that was. But for that, and And, just say to anyone, this has been all about fathers dying. This whole movie has been about it. And that's why I watched it. And I'm telling you, this is the part of the movie I started bawling my fucking eyes out. Like, I was crying. I didn't know I could, I cried. And the only other times I've cried, the first Pokemon movie, when Ash was turned to stone and Pikachu was crying. I had cried 3 times my first viewing of Avengers Endgame. I'm also going to say I probably cried watching Tick Tick Boom with, on Netflix. Because that one just gets me. And that's like my drunk, sad song. This is my 5th time. And I did not cry as much. It was like, a couple tears, emotional for the moment. This one, I just bawled my fucking eyes out. I bawled my fucking eyes out watching a kid. And, dealing with your dad dying one time was one thing. Dealing with your dad dying a second time, like that would... I'm getting emotional right now. I'm like, that would fucking... I don't want... I really don't want to do that, for real. So then, they dump the cabin, their dad's melting. I'm just going to try to read the notes right now. Let's take another sip. They have to get off a moving truck and go down a hill. Not let him die, they're trying not to let her dad die. I guess I'll talk to a snowman dad. Though I think Charlie's finally like, it's your time to go. And he was like, I'll always be with you, Charlie. Even in death, make sure you keep that harmonica. And then, Charlie let him go, and I just fucking lost. I lost my goddamn shit at this movie. I don't even know what the fuck went on. And then his dad died, and things went back to normal. And I guess Charlie lived the fucking rest of his life. Like, God damn it. Anyways, though, that's fucking Jack Frost. Like, I hope I explained that well. Probably, I'm not gonna say it's the only movie I've ever cried at, or like a movie I've cried at. It's probably the most I've ever cried watching a movie. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Like, and it's not even a good movie. This is not even a good movie. That's the part I hate about this shit. It's not even a good movie. But it's just a fucking dead dad. He's like, I love you, Charlie. And I'm like, oh my God. I fucking hate this shit. So, what did we learn? Because, every movie has a lesson for some fucking reason. Like I said, whoever fucking told me, like, you need to watch the movie Jack Frost for your next Christmas review, fuck you. Next episode, I know you're listening to this shit. You're getting a fucking swift punch to the face through your headphones. Because I don't like that shit, and I hope you're ready. Why weren't you at elf practice? Because I'm fucking ready for you. Another lesson, if your dad recently died, don't watch the movie Jack Frost. If you've ever liked this movie, just eliminate it from any viewing of a movie you've ever watched. Just eliminate this movie from your mind forever for the rest of your life. I think the last things I will say is fuck this movie, and I don't even think this movie is good.
What?
I don't think this movie is good at all. And fuck everything about this movie's existence. But Michael Keaton, I still like you, I guess. Hey there, you just checked out a highlight from Cancel Schweezy. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you learned something and that you are now a smarter individual. Just so you know, we have full episodes and other many highlights available now. Click here for the next best thing that you can go check out as well. And make sure you press that subscribe button and press that notification bell. That way you get updated anytime we make a new post or anytime that we make a new highlight or full episode. So thank you, honk if you love butt drugs, and stay awesome.